watching Jack prepare to go onto set, let's just say he's not the most professional, right?
Fortunately, I'm really tired. I've had to spend a lot of time with George Clooney and watching his preparation slash alcoholism was really helpful in this.
Everyone keeps bringing that up because about 10 minutes later, Lily and our characters have like a really huge, intense kiss, and no one brings that up.
Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, need I say any more? We're here on the red carpet for Babylon in London. I'm Emily from It's Gone Viral, and I'm going to be speaking to some of the stars tonight. This film is absolutely epic. That's the only way I can describe it, and I can't wait for you to see it.
I think what we have here in Hollywood is high art. It's
Party time, sparkle fest! Hi, I'm Emily. I'm very well.
Jovan, it's a pleasure.
Lovely to meet you. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, you obviously play a trumpet in this film, and am I right in thinking you didn't really play much trumpet before? Maybe a month or something?
I do not play the trumpet in real life. That is just me doing whatever was necessary to get this job and to play it as best as I could.
So you didn't put it on your CV that you could play the trumpet?
I did. I did put it on the CV, but that was just because I really wanted the role. I wanted a chance to work with Damien. I've been a huge fan of his for years, so getting this opportunity to work with Brad and Margot and Diego and the rest of the cast, I was going to do whatever I needed to do to get that part. So
I love that so much. Fake it till you make it, right?
Exactly. I wouldn't condone it all the time, but if the role is right, sometimes you got to risk it. So
that's amazing. Hello, how are you?
Cold.
I bet, but you look absolutely stunning. It's paying off for sure. Congratulations on the film. Thank you so much. Your character is pretty badass in this film. At one point, for people that haven't seen it, I won't give any spoilers, but you do suck venom out of Margot's neck. How did that scene even happen? How did they make it look so realistic?
Well, there was a lot of prosthetics involved, some honey, some water, and a lot of sand because of the environment that we were in. But it was really crazy because I asked Damien where he got such an idea, and he just kept playing with all these. He's just pushes boundaries, and that this is why he's such a genius at what he does, and we did it.
And I bet that made for a bit of a gritty encounter with Margot.
Gritty, yes, but it was such an amazing experience. It was the wildest thing I've ever done and probably will ever do.
I mean, it's one for the bucket list, that's for sure.
Yeah, memorable for sure.
Yeah. Congratulations on the film. It was absolutely incredible. The best film I've seen in a very, very long time. So congratulations. Where did the idea come from for Babylon?
So, it was about 15 years ago. It was a long time ago. I first started kind of germinating on it. I had just moved to LA, and I think I was really interested in sort of where did this place come from, because it was desert originally. And even in the time of this movie, you see a lot of that desert still there. But in the span of a very short amount of time, that desert turned into a city, an industry, a behemoth, this kind of global corporate thing that we call Hollywood. So I just wanted to find out how that happened, and it became this kind of dream project for, about 15 years.
Hi Brad, lovely to meet you. I'm Emily. I'm very well, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good, congratulations on the film.
Yeah, thank you.
It was epic.
That's
the only way I can describe it.
It is epic.
And there is a beautiful scene where Jack is learning about the impact that he has on film. So with that in mind, what film has kind of changed everything for you in your career? What was that kind of pivotal film?
I got a couple of, peaks. Certainly it was Ridley and Gina bringing me into Thelma And Louise. That was kind of my first shot in the big leagues, as I call it. Then certainly meeting David Fincher, that was what I was always hoping it would be, and that sent me off in a really, really good direction. And from there, I've just been groping my way through it.
You're doing all right.
Thank you.
You're doing all right.
Thank you.
And there's obviously, watching Jack prepare to go onto set, let's just say he's not the most professional, right? he's not the most professional, is he?
Yeah, fortunately, I'm really tired. I've had to spend a lot of time with George Clooney and watching his preparation slash alcoholism was really helpful in this one.
Yeah, it certainly applies for this film. Yeah. And just lastly, it's on camera now, you said it now. Just lastly, there is one particular party crasher going by the name of Margot Robbie. Have you ever crashed a party? I want to know.
Yeah, I crashed a party last week, actually. Yes, it was a lovely baby shower for Tom Pelphrey and Kaley Cuoco. It was an epic party itself, and I crashed it. I literally crashed it.
Because I heard you crashed a party when you were filming for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I crashed a wedding.
A wedding?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I crashed a wedding party. Yeah.
Well, I would be very happy if you would have crashed my wedding.
Okay. Listen, I'm not shy. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
You know, when I first moved to LA,
I got your face tattooed, Linda.
you know what the signs on all the doors read? No actors or dogs allowed. I changed that.
There's a beautiful scene near the end where Manny is crying whilst watching Singing in the Rain, and seeing that transition to sound movies. What's the most recent film that's really kind of impacted you in that way, or maybe made you cry?
In that time, you mean?
No, just recently that you've watched.
Recently? Oh my gosh.
Or ever. It could be Lion King.
I did cry during Lion King. I actually recently was really moved by Wakanda Forever. What a film about grief. That really moved me to tears.
What an incredible film.
Yeah, it really was. I really enjoyed it.
Congratulations on the film. And you look very dapper tonight, I might add. Your training, I guess, preparation for this film, wasn't the most traditional, shall we say. Was it right that you went to Damien's house and did kind of a little boot camp?
Well, I know it's not traditional, and yes, I stayed in Damien's for 10 days. We rehearsed the whole movie, and we were like kids, you know, kids playing to direct and act in movies. Olivia, his wife, and also the producer, and also an actress, she played all the other roles, and Damien was recording and directing, and yeah, it's true.
And what was it like when you first met with Margot and Brad? Because you're fairly new to kind of Hollywood and the big screen, although you wouldn't tell, but what was it like meeting them and learning from them as well?
Well, the day I met Margot, it was the chemistry reading, and I like to say it, I owe this role to her, because whatever happened that night or that day in that casting, it was because of her, because how she made me feel and all the secure she transmit, you know, it was intoxicated. So yeah, it was amazing. And with Brad, I mean, come on, he's the coolest guy in the world, and I learned from both every day.
I met you on the Amsterdam carpet and we were talking about the Emma Mackey. Yeah, exactly. So this film is absolutely incredible, so congratulations on that to start with. Rumour has it that you did a bit of improv in this film.
Yeah, we did lots of improv.
Lots.
I mean, the script is so stunningly perfect. There is little need to improv, but it is something that Damien would encourage all the time anyway. He's like always searching for something bigger and crazier and more absurd or more tragic, more heartfelt. I mean, it was just, yeah, it was so wonderful to be on a set where you knew you could do absolutely anything.
Because the scene in particular that I'm thinking of is the kiss with a certain Mr. Brad Pitt. I hear that, was that your idea?
It was so funny that everyone keeps bringing that up, because about 10 minutes later, Lily and our characters have like a really huge, intense kiss, and no one brings that up. I'm like, oh, that kiss is way more significant than a peck on the lips.
About it.
Yeah.
I've already been speaking about it tonight, don't worry.
I'm so surprised people don't bring up that kiss, but yeah.
No, it's more the fact that you improv that, and I love that.
Oh,
You just
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of brought that into your own and really brought up the character. Congratulations on the film. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.
She has no idea what's next.
There's a new sensibility now. People care about morals.
Did you have like Margot and Brad and Diego in mind when it was all kind of coming to life? Did you have that in mind when you were bringing the characters together?
No, the only thing I had in mind was sort of knowing that I wanted movie stars, pre-established movie stars, to play the movie stars in the movie, and then someone who we don't know to play Manny, to be kind of our everyman, our eyes and ears. So Brad was the first person who signed on. Margot shortly thereafter. Diego, we wound up looking at thousands of actors all over the world to find a discovery, someone who hadn't done many movies for that role, and we were just so lucky to find Diego. It's just, I saw a headshot, I liked it. He did an audition. We wound up rehearsing for almost a year. So that was a completely different process. But no, I'd say no one was in my mind initially.
My gosh, did it pay off having Manny? He was absolutely incredible, his performance.
Thank you. I agree.
Just very quickly, music is obviously a massive part of this film.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that you've got music in your background? Were you a jazz drummer?
Yeah, well, I was a wannabe jazz drummer. I wasn't good enough to cut it as a jazz drummer, so I vicariously live that through the movies now. But yeah, it's a big part of my process. I work with the same composer, Justin Hurwitz. We were college roommates together, so we've known each other for a while, and so we could kind of complete each other's sentences, and so he's involved early on. As soon as I have a script, he's writing tunes, some of which you're hearing right now. And as you know, this movie is really guided by the music. The music's a character in its own right, so it was even more crucial on this project to have that kind of relationship.
I've heard you say before that Diego really kind of stole the show and really impressed you. What is it about him that makes him so special?
So for the role of Manny, we were determined to find an unknown face to sort of be the audience's way through the movie. And it was so hard to find somebody who hadn't been in a billion things, but could carry an entire movie and hold their own against Margot and Diego. Margot and Brad. And what grabbed me about Diego is he has that charisma, that natural charm that all the movie stars have. And he just has it. You can't teach that, And so when we first started auditioning him, it was clear to me that he had to be Manny, and he delivers for sure.
And there are so many fun and chaotic scenes in this, particularly ones that you're in and where things are kind of going wrong on set, and you get to see that behind the scenes that not a lot of people get to see. What was the most fun for you to shoot? Was there anything that really went wrong or not to plan?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Our very first day of shooting, we were in these kind of like outback vehicles. They're called like follow vans, where you follow a big truck, and we were following Diego driving the truck when he goes back to get the camera. And within 30 minutes of getting it going, we all got stuck in a ditch. So like our very first day on set, we're all like getting out of the cars, climbing up sand dunes. Like I have a picture of Diego just like this is not gonna go well. Day one of 73 on a, and so that was how it began.
And there's a really beautiful scene of Manny crying at Singing in the Rain, and just kind of seeing that transition. What film have you watched recently that has really had that kind of impact on you, or ever?
That made me cry. I mean, maybe I'm not supposed to, I'll give another example too, but when I watched the ending of this film, it didn't used to be the ending that it was in the film that you're all going to see. And Damien just had this moment where he said, wait, I have a new idea, I have to change it. And he worked furiously with his editor for like a week. And then I went into a big movie theater by myself and I watched it, and it was like, it was very, very profound. I was crying. That was the ending. But it was crazy because it wasn't written, and it just was a sort of creative inspiration he got. Yeah.
Obviously, your character is part of these crazy, crazy scenes, but you're almost a little bit set back. What was your favorite scene to film? Because there is a lot going on, right?
My favorite scene to film, I would have to say, well, one of them is the opening sequence. I think it's just because that was the scene that all of the cast was together, and so I really got to see the establishing of the different characters other than myself. So that's the one I enjoyed kind of watching the most.
And just lastly, there's a beautiful scene at the end where Manny's crying at watching Singing in the Rain, the transition to sound movie. What's the last film that kind of impacted you in that way? Maybe had a little tear here or there?
Till was the film that I watched this year with my good friend Danielle Deadweiler. She's a brilliant actress, so getting to see her as a leading woman that I always knew she had the talent for, but being able to watch her do her thing was probably the last film that I was really affected by, at least more recent.
There's a lot of chaotic scenes in this film. It is crazy, to say the least, but your character almost drifts in and drifts out.
Yeah.
What was the most chaotic and fun scene for you to film?
The chaotic scenes is probably keeping that kind of stillness within the wildness of the party. Part of something that we continue to be asked about is what it was like to film that party, and the truth is the people who were involved were always really having a fantastic time, and so it was really like partying for 12 days straight, and then being able to tunnel vision every time Lady Faye comes on so that I'm not distracted by all the good times that everyone's having.
You were amazing, and you really held the room, and even me watching, I was like, oh my God, she's here again, like an angel drifting in. And just lastly, there's a beautiful scene near the end where Manny is crying whilst watching Singing in the Rain and seeing that transition to sound movies. What's the most recent film that's really kind of impacted you in that way, or maybe made you cry?
In that time, you mean?
No, just recently that you've watched.
Recently. Oh my gosh.
Or ever. It could be Lion King.
I did cry during Lion King. I actually recently was really moved by Wakanda Forever. What a film about grief. That really moved me to tears.
What an incredible film.
Yeah, it really was. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you get warmer.
It doesn't even matter anymore.
We are going to be more than they ever bargained for.
What I do means something.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Hart.
Hi, my name's Eric Stonestreet.
Hi, I'm Margot.
I'm Journey.
I'm James McAvoy.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm Rebel Wilson.
I'm Jeremy Clarkson.
I'm going to be translating some Scottish tweets for It's Gone Viral.
On It's Gone Viral.
Ooh. On It's Gone Viral.